Boom. Hey, guess what, guys? Today I'm talking to you about cock rings. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting that. Well, the reason why I'm talking about this today is this is the FirmTech Ring, invented by Dr. Elliot Justin. And this device hopes to help with the erectile dysfunction issues that are rampant in the veteran health space. So, if you want to learn more about why this device is important, how this is related to your cardiovascular health, and how you can get involved in a study to help millions of veterans get harder to kill, then stay tuned. All right, so I'm going to give you guys just a prompt right now. If you are listening sound on in public, now's the time to put the headphones on because we're going to be talking about erectile dysfunction. I know. So here's the deal. Veterans have a much higher rate of erectile dysfunction than the Gen Pop. Generally speaking, if you're in your 40s, 40% of us, because I'm in my 40s, have erectile dysfunction. In your 50s, 50%, in your 60s, 60%. That is staggering in terms of numbers. The downstream effects of that for your ego, for your love life, are pretty bad. The VA hands out blue pills like you wouldn't believe, and they also hand out cock rings. I didn't know that, but apparently they do. Now, Dr. Elliot Justin, I've had on the podcast, and you're going to hear follow-on interview with him. So stay tuned to the rest of this episode to talk about his device. So this is the FirmTech Ring. You see it right here. Okay. This tech ring is the first of its kind to actually monitor your nighttime erections. Why is that important, you'd say? Well, there's a direct correlation between cardiovascular health and your erectile health. So in order to prevent issues with your heart, the first thing you need to be monitoring is your erectile health. This device does that. So it sends data to my phone. And so I'm going to strap this bad boy on. I know. I'm not, hey, this isn't don't get your mind out of the gutter. I'm just going to be wearing it all night. I'm going to get the data on your phone. You're not going to get any videos or pics of that pervert, but I'll be going over the data and then explaining kind of how this device can further the amount of data you have that you can bring to your doctor to say, hey, you know what? My erectile health isn't very good. Doesn't this mean that I may have a coronary event in the future? And what strategies I should take in the future in order to prevent that? So that's what this episode is all about. So stay tuned. We're going to get into the conversation with Dr. Elliot Justin, and you're going to find out the data that I'm going to be pulling off my phone after wearing this for one night. Not only that, you're going to be able to volunteer for Dr. Elliot's study where he's looking for veterans to participate with wearing one of these rings so that he can get some more refined data on how it performs and what type of mitigation strategies can be applied for later. So if you want the details for that, you're going to be able to find them all in the show notes here. So stay tuned, enjoy the episode, and share with somebody in your network that could definitely benefit from having better erectile health. Just be discreet about it. All right, stay tuned. Folks, I'm sitting down with Dr. Elliot Justin yet again because we're going to be talking about his new device called the FirmTech Ring. So there's a bunch of different devices that actually Dr. Justin is going to talk about. So Elliot was on the show a few months ago talking about erectile dysfunction, but more importantly, how many fellas this actually affects and what he's doing about it, which is the cool thing. He's doing something about it. He's doing the American thing. He recognized the problem. He said, I'm going to create a company. I'm going to create this new device, which nobody else is doing. So I've got one in my hands right now. We're going to explain it a little bit more in detail. And Elliot, let's start with your backstory and what brought you to creating this interesting device. And let's call it spade a spade. It's a cock ring, but it's a high-tech cock ring. The first of its kind. Let's chat a little bit.
It's the first of a kind, I can say, that's specifically designed to heighten orgasms, not just keep your dick hard. So my backstory is I'm an emergency medicine physician. And I can tell you that short of a heart attack or a stroke, there's no emergency that concerns a man as much as his dick going limp. So, yeah, it's alarming. So this came to me because I was I went to medical technology in 2015. I was challenged by a urologist at the University of Utah coming up with a way of counting the number of nocturnal erections. And I'm a doctor. I would guess that 99.5% of doctors don't even know about the significance of them because I was unaware. And I think people in general are unaware. So what does it mean? What nocturnal erections signify? Well, a healthy man should have 3 to 5 per night. Everyone knows about morning wood, and they might poke their partner, and the partner knows about it in the morning as well too. But they don't know. We don't know about the ones we're having during our sleep. So by leading indicator, I mean that before a man has a heart attack or a stroke or develops significant clinical diabetes or atherosclerosis, the number of nocturnal erections will go down. Well, this urologist professor who challenged me with this, frankly, like most urologists, straight urologists, I'll say, didn't really know about cock rings. But I was kind of the right man at the right place at the right time because I've always been interested in sex. And I'm a doctor. My thought was, well, we could do better than just count nocturnal erections with a device that's worn overnight. Let's just come up with something that will measure the duration of firmness of erections while a man is having sex. Because after all, what does a man care most about his penis? Whether it's going to work while he's fucking. So that became my goal. So my thought was to embed sensors and make a smart cock ring. So, I mean, there's this big gap in the healthcare wearable world. We have apps for almost everything, from weight, calories, how many steps you took. They're ketones. You're checking out your retina. But there's this huge gap about sex. Now, what do men care more about? Steps they took yesterday, or the calories, or whether their penis is working well, and how's that compared to other men of their age with similar problems? So that meant I had to change the cock ring, because cock rings are stupidly made out of hard silicone. Dave, I lost you. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Cock rings are made out of the same way for the last 150 years. They're made out of hard silicone. And you can't wear hard silicone overnight. It hurts. And frankly, during sex, you can't wear hard silicone for more than 15 to 20 minutes because it's painful. It's too constricting. It pinches. So I decided that I'd make a cock ring more out of material, more like a soft elastomer, like a stress ball. A little bit tighter than that, but a stress ball, because that could be worn overnight. Mm-hmm. And the other advantage of that material is that it doesn't produce a chokehold in your penis. It doesn't block the arterial flow into the penis. It just constrains the venous return, which means you can wear this ring for hours. You don't have to have an erection to put it on. You don't have to interrupt sexual activity, say, hey, where's my ring? And now I have a hard on and I'm ready. And it'll comfortably keep you hard after you've had a climax. You don't want this thing off right away, which is nice in case your partner needs a little more time, or just nice, frankly, romantically, if you're still hard afterwards. So we reinvented the cock ring. We also designed it to increase the ejaculatory phase. I don't think any other cock ring manufacturers ever really thought about that. To them, it was just about putting a chokehold in your dick, hold the blood in, which is important. Because it puts more blood in it, but it's uncomfortable. So ours doesn't put this uncomfortable chokehold on it. I wanted to double the ejaculatory time. That was my goal. So women have vibrators, which are great for them, but men don't have many products, frankly, probably any products that really enhance their pleasure. But if you can draw out the ejaculation without cutting it off, then you can increase the amount of time you're orgasming, you're climaxing. So with this ring, my ejaculatory phase goes from 4 seconds to 7 seconds on average. We've had people almost doubling. Most in a tested group of 12 men, almost everyone hit at least 50%. Well, that's the big difference. And it's just one of the things that I really would like to see is cock rings be mainstreamed for men, the way vibrators have been mainstreamed for women. And women today, it's uncommon today to find a woman who's embarrassed about having a vibrator. I mean, 90 million women in the United States own vibrators. It's got to be a similar percentage in Canada. And
90 million?
90 million. Have at least one.
Like 1/3 of the population.
Yeah.
Okay.
One, at least one.
Man, that means grandma has one. That's gross.
Well, no, it's good for grandma, people. Lots of people have written up kind of fun stuff about the amount of sex people having in retirement communities. Something to look forward to, Dave. You'll get old eventually.
Eventually, in 30 years time. Yeah. Funny story. I can't remember which grandma it was because it's like a mythical story, but one of them worked in an old folks home when she was like in her 20s, and the stories were insane. A lot of broken hips from banging, and they'd find them kind of like incapacitated. It's like, it's funny, but it's kind of sad at the same time. It's like, oh, like he broke his hip, and then like a few months later they died, but at least they went out doing what they love. It's like, wow. It's like, yeah, because humans are humans. All of a sudden you have like one guy per like 5 women.
Yeah, the sex ratio is very male positive.
What's going to happen? My mindset's not going to change in 35 years. Pretty confident about that. So I'll be like, all right, all of these old ladies, here we go. Yeah, I'm like, assuming I'm not married, right? That's a big assumption, big caveat there.
So straight guys just often don't get this though. 90% of the gay men who are sexually active use cock rings all the time, and only 10% of straight men do, because I guess for 2 reasons. One, they're just less inhibited in general. 2, they're focused on their pleasure without inhibition, and also I think anal penetration requires a harder dick, sustained harder dick, because the rectal sphincter gets tightened up. Just putting that out there in case you're wondering.
Anatomy is important on this podcast. Anatomy is important.
So
okay, so just to interject there. On the side of like just this the sexual health thing for a lot of us dudes, and I was pointing this out, especially a lot of us guys that were army or infantry. We're kind of like barbarians and guerrillas, right? Like we're crass. We talk about having sex with our girlfriends and there's like our last like bang and stuff like that, and like it's pretty open. But then it seems like as soon as we're out and as soon as we get quote unquote civilized again, we don't want to chat about this. We don't want to talk about our issues. We'll have chats about like our mental health. We'll have chats about our physical health. But this is like it seems like the last frontier of this is a taboo for sure, because clearly I'm open about it because I have you on the podcast. I want to chat about it. I want to kind of break that taboo a little bit, but things that you're talking about, just, increasing the length of your orgasm, that's a topic I've never even heard of until talking to you, because I never thought that would have been a thing. But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if women can increase the length of their orgasms, why can't guys do it too? I mean, we're talking about equality all the time here. So therefore, a little bit of equality for dudes can go a long way. And you're pushing the boundaries on that and creating something, which I thought was really interesting, because again, most of us just suck it up. I don't need pleasure. I don't, you know what I mean? Typical guy, like stoic thing to do. No, I'm good. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But in reality, man, if you can't be comfortable with your own sexuality and like feel like you're a man, it's probably a big deal if you're experiencing some issues. So that's really cool about, this project and this company it created. So go ahead. Yeah, I had another point.
A typical reaction from straight men is, I don't need that, because I think they're embarrassed. My point to men is, it's not about needs, but want. Do you want to have better orgasm? Do you want to satisfy a partner by having a longer, erection? I really think men need to put a ring on it, the way women commonly use vibrators today.
We can get Beyonce to do the remix.
What?
Actually, I wanted to point something. I wanted to point something out there. I was just listening to somebody, a therapist. Can't remember their name, but they're talking about just the intimacy between like a man and woman in a married relationship. And, for us guys, we want to get closer with sex, and the better the sex is, the more we want to have it. And then the more we give to our partner, our lady. Right. And it seems like that's almost lost in the conversation, where it's like, oh, he always wants to have sex. It's like, yeah, like that's how I make the connection. But then that's how you'll get the connection, because I'll be more available to you because I feel closer physically. And I find that weird that that's kind of lost in the sauce, maybe in a generation or two. I don't know. I don't know what grandma and grandpa were doing. Nobody ever talked about it, but I'd be curious to know, like, from your perspective, like, is that kind of the thing that we're missing? Just that intimacy, and that's what something like this can do, which is increase your willingness because you get more dopamine, you feel better.
Yeah, well,
closer to your partner. Is that kind of like the big picture?
It certainly benefits. There isn't a health system that doesn't benefit from your brain, even to your skin. And people have sex regularly actually live there's a British study. People have sex regularly, meaning twice a week, live on average 18 months longer, all things being equal in terms of the cardiovascular disease. So you're not going to live forever, but it could give you some extra time, and extra time in that nursing home, extra time in that retirement community, do some more banging. Also, one of the things that women object to about men is the come and done mindset. Men will come too quickly, and a ring will keep them harder longer, and also a ring will keep them harder after they've come, which and that produces more intimacy. For me personally, my wife always comes before I do. So the issue really is if I'm harder afterwards, the issue is more one for us of intimacy, to your point earlier, which is that if I'm still hard, I'm still in bed. The male mentality is come and done. What's next? Who's texting me while I'm screwing? Is it time for a drink? What are we doing next? So, but if a man with an erection thinks differently, even Canadians, I think too. So
I think Canadians are the same. Yeah, I think it's
kind of universal. So a man with a heart on it, he's still contemporary terms, but in the game, people more my age, it's still a romantic, intimate experience that the guy is still erect, and engaged.
That's interesting. So let's get into. I'm going to unbox this thing, and show people what we're talking
about. Every 1,000 boxes comes with $1 million check in it, so maybe you'll get lucky at it.
It's like Willy Wonka. Oh wow! All right. Oh crap! I'm dropping all over my keyboard here. So we got the QR code here.
Gotta have a QR code today.
Okay. So what were those used for recently?
Yeah, before COVID, nothing. Right. Look at the way they trained us to queue.
I was using I'm going to be that guy. I was using them before they were cool. I put them on my posters so you could buy my book. So you go to Amazon, so you wouldn't have to type in Amazon.com or CA. I was like, this is really cool. Why aren't more people using it? Damn it. I shouldn't have said that out loud, man. It turned into a dystopian nightmare. Besides that, okay, so I got it right here. So this is, just to clarify, the FirmTech performance ring. So this is the one, if I'm looking at it correctly, like we've got the little red area here, which is a little bit harder. That's where the tech is, right?
Correct.
That's the Bluetooth.
That's the tech
device.
That's with the tech ring. We make a version without the tech called the performance ring. So the tech is something we haven't discussed, and I could get into that if you want. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's do it, because for me, like I'm also very curious. My initial curiosity for me, because I'm in my 40s. I am now concerned about my heart health a lot more than I was even like 5 years ago. I want to know objectively, without having to go through a battery of, calcium, coronary artery, calcium screens, and doing stress tests. At a fundamental level, do I have anything to be concerned about? Because I'm asleep. I wake up, I'm usually at full mass, but then again, maybe throughout the night, I'm not getting any. So this device is based on, and the monitoring is based on some really good research, right? That if you could expand on, could go a long way for people curious about the device.
So the tech ring is like an electrocardiogram stress test for your penis. And also is a profound reflector of cardiac health. So as I said earlier, the number of nocturnal erections is a leading indicator of vascular health. If you're having a normal number, if you wear this device overnight and you get 4 or 5 readings, so you can get an average, because you don't. It takes 1 or 2 readings for the sensors to calibrate to your body. It takes 4 or 5 readings to get an average, because you can really. It turns out, and we didn't. This was unknown until people started utilizing our device. There's so many things that impact the number of nocturnal erections you have: alcohol, quality of sleep, the duration of your sleep, medications like antihypertensive medications. SSRI antidepressants that people take so commonly today have an impact on nocturnal erections, and if you have sex before you go to bed or jerk off before you go to bed, that number goes down as well too. So we're actually we sold small thousand products, and we have data that no one else has about what's normal. And as that database grows, we'll be able to better inform our users about where they stand. One, during sex, we measure duration of firmness of erections. So the device is not just a great cock ring. And I will say that we've had quite a few women say that they like our cock ring because it's covered with a soft elastomer. So especially if a woman is on top, it's a lot easier to rub a clit against soft elastomer than it is to rub against pubic bone, especially for women as they get older, out of the 30s. And the things that certainly turned on, you've experienced as well too, on certain women. The things that turn on women in the 20s are different than the things that turn on women in the 40s, from your 40s and 50s. So it was designed.
Doing the dishes. It's a big one.
Yeah. Nothing like getting a reach around while you're doing the dishes too.
Man. Wedded bliss.
That needs to be normalized. You hear that, Annie? I've been waiting for like 35 years for that. Anyway, it's a whole other subject. Maybe it's not a different subject. We can have another podcast. We can talk about that on another podcast. But yes. It was actually designed to enhance female pleasure, because actually the clitoris is 1.5 centimeters away from the base of the dorsum of the penis. So most cock rings that are really not going to help women at all. Whereas this is a little bit elevated. It gives us something to rub against. But that said, getting back to the technology, one during sex, it measures the duration of your erection and the firmness of the erection. So now you can measure the impact, positive or negative, of diseases, diabetes, hypertension, atherosclerosis, or medications like the big cock killers being antidepressants and antihypertensives, recreational drugs, alcohol, all these supplements that make claims that they're good for your dick, diet, exercise. So all these, with 50% of men having ED by age 50, there are a lot of desperate guys out there. And where there are hopes, there are dopes. Yeah. And where there are dopes, there are people marketing stuff to them. I have guys telling me that they're taking beet juice, or that they're taking Tongkat Ali, this Malaysian herb. We've been testing some of these things with our testicle repair and Bozeman, like goat weed, the DHEA, or L-arginine pills, nitric oxide pills. We haven't found anything that works that will help a man, get harder. It's our hope too that men have the data. They'll change. They'll comply. If they're diabetic, they'll take insulin. If they're hypertensive, they'll take their pills. If they're drinking too much, they'll drink less. And so
with the hope that this is like your prime motivator. It's like, hey, you can actually have more sex, and who doesn't want to have more sex?
And
right?
also,
if you do the lifestyle changes that you're supposed to, like we went over it in the last episode that we did. Eat properly, lose weight, be physically active, get outside, do like the human things that you're supposed to. Things will get better, and then this is your objective data that you can get to show that you're actually getting healthier, right? Because that's at the end of the day what you're trying to drive. That's
right. It's my hope that it's my hope that men will develop a positive relationship with this device. We know that with smartwatches, smart rings, digital scales, MyZone, heart band monitor, people are in the gym, that many people will develop a positive relationship. When they have data, they'll start paying attention to it. So it's our hope that with this data, men pay more attention to their sexual health, but also the healthcare providers will start thinking about, doctors, we're assholes in so many ways. We don't ask people about their sexual health. I mean, you and I think I've discussed this offline. I'm 7 years old. I've never had a doctor warn me about the sexual side effects of a medication, or ask me about how's your marriage. And what's really important to people who are whether they're married or whether they're gay and they got partners. What's the most important thing in their life? Probably the quality of that relationship, and particularly their guy, the quality of that sexual relationship. And to your point about shame, it's one thing for ordinary people to have shame, but doctors seem to have shame and inhibition about this as well. They don't ask. No one's ever asked my wife about her sexual health. My tech guy's here right now. He's in his late 20s. He has some medical issues. No one ever asks him, hey, is that pill? How's that affecting your sex life? So we need. Yeah. So it's not just that these technologies will allow people to have personalized information about themselves, but it will start to sensitize physicians, healthcare providers. Say, hey, there's data out there now that I can actually track the impact of an intervention on someone's health. And I'm confident, Dave, and it might not be us that makes the big money, so to speak, that what we're doing right now with our erectile fitness score that we're coming out with this week, will become the standard of care in urology and sexology for men's sexual health in 3 to 5 years. I mean, Inevitably, this will fall into the hands of Boston Scientific or Medtronic or some other company with more resources. But what was blood pressure before it was a blood pressure cup? It was a doctor putting his hand in your pulse saying, "Oh, it's strong, it's weak." What was cardiology
Right.
before an electrocardiogram? It was someone listening with a stethoscope and saying, "Hey, Dave, ticker sounds good. Go out, you're fine."
Sounds right.
Right.
Yeah.
So any problems you have are in your head. So it's this.
That's really fascinating.
We're going to make not just male sexuality objective, but we're also going to. But that male sexuality is a reflection of your cardiovascular and cardiometabolic health.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And now that you have that, like, it's at the right moment, right? Because you actually have the tech now that you can do it. Because Bluetooth tech, right? Like let's be honest, like this didn't exist 20 years ago, really, to be convenient so that you could put it in something this small, right? You wouldn't want to wear like this on your dick. Like, all right, honey, I'm Bluetoothed up. Let's go. Let's ride. So I guess the last thing we need to do is just do a live demo, right? I'll just throw this back. No.
Oh my God, man. Awesome.
Okay. But I am going to do a demo. So folks, if you're curious, I'm not going to whip out my cock. Don't worry. But I am going to wear this for a few nights, and I'm going to put all the results on YouTube. Now, just as a kind of user-based thing, the QR code, does that bring me to the app that I put on my phone? How's that all work?
Well, yeah, the QR code will bring you to the app to put on your phone. You can find us most people don't do that though, David. They go right to the Google or Apple stores and they look for FirmTech and they upload there. Okay. And then they pair. Then they sync it with their phone. Okay.
On the topic of having sex with this thing, do I have to if it's like Strava, do I have to hit like start workout, or is it something that'll passively start for me?
It doesn't passively start. You have to press.
You have to hit start workout.
Press record, and this actually is something I find of interest. When you press record, the device will then say, that it's unpaired and it's not connected to your phone. It's recorded. There's a green light that will flash, and then the green light goes off. So you're not going to go green in the dark. You can if you want, by the way. You can keep on pressing the button and go green in the dark if you want, but.
So I'm like Iron Man. I got an Iron Man dick. That'd be sick.
The green light flashes 10 times.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. Yeah.
And then when you're done recording, you have to turn it off and then turn it on again. The reason being that there are people concerned about Bluetooth radiation, especially on their dick, overnight. So there's no Bluetooth. Yeah, the Bluetooth isn't working while you're having sex or while you're sleeping. So that's why you have to turn it on again in order for the Bluetooth to go on, and then your data's on the cloud, and then it takes a blue bar appears at the bottom, and as the bar goes across, when it's done, submit. So if you have really powerful connectivity, it can take 90 seconds. If you have slow connectivity and it's overnight, and especially if you've had a lot of sex overnight, like a young guy like you, I don't know, 5-6 times, looking at you.
That's about right. Yeah. Thanks, Doc.
And then there's a questionnaire. There's a questionnaire on it that you can skip, but so that if you want to say, "Gee, I smoke marijuana," it's all private, by the way. We have no access. There's no one in the company has access to your data unless you give permission. But I had 2 drinks, or I took blood pressure medicine, so all that medical data is for your personal record is there.
Okay, that's great. And thinking about that is just a way to diagnose things. That would be something if you bring to your doctor.
Yes.
You're like, "Hey, look, I've been noticing over the last few weeks. Is this normal?" And you just go, "Hey, doc, here you go." And then he could take a look, or she could take a look, and just be able to have more data to make a final decision, which is great. I did have a question. Is there an accelerometer in this thing?
No, but we have plans to add one.
Okay. You know why I'm asking.
Well, I can actually tell you what positions you're having sex in and how many calories you're burning.
I'm thinking like, man, can we use this as a means to like determine, calories burned, and then like you throw it into your list of workouts? Oh my God, this is like next level, man. I love it.
Well, you could put up I assume probably someone like you is going to want to put up a leaderboard at your gym, right?
If I could be the first to start the first banging leaderboard,
you could be number 1 in Canada,
North America. This will start, like, this is going to start something. I think we're on to something here. This is trademarked right now. I'm saying it out loud. This is trademark. This idea is trademarked. better not have anybody else come in and try and take this idea from me. This is the one that's going to go to the bank. Yeah, you could have like the Bang Olympics.
Yeah,
It's just like have pages of data, man. And then we bring all kinds of charities involved for like prostate cancer and like, you know, you name it, man. Mental health. Oh my God.
It could be like NHL teams competing in Canada. Who's the firmest? Or it could be you could go provincial. Hey, is Alberta firmer than the Quebecois? I don't know. You tell me.
Oh man, I like where this is going. All right, well, another
Biden versus
project
Trudeau.
to add to the list. Oh my God, yeah, get some public data on there. Oh man, wow, we just tapped into something here, Elliot. I think we just we hit the jackpot. So I'm a big fan of the ring, and folks. So we didn't touch on one of the main things we want to get across to you is that Elliot, you're conducting a study, and you need some eligible veterans. Let's get into that and let's share the details.
Sure. You know, there's a significant problem with veterans having PTSD and ED. Many veterans are taking either Viagra or tadalafil or sildenafil. We want to do a study to help us determine what really is the best therapy for veterans and what dosage. So, and we also want to see whether combination therapy is more effective than we suspect it will. What I mean by combination therapy is an effective cock ring plus tadalafil. So obviously men with ED, they get an erection. This is going to help people who can't get erections at all. But if a man gets erections and loses them or gets partial erections, we want men to do, what we're looking for from your view is we want 4 orgasms, and that will benefit not just veterans, but men all around the world. So are you willing to have sex to improve the quality of sexual health for men? So we want 1 orgasm while masturbating, and then measure how much time it takes for your erection to go down. Another orgasm wearing a ring, how long it takes for erection to go down. A third taking either tadalafil, so you have to be on the medication, or sildenafil, how long it takes your erection to go down. And a fourth with using the ring plus either sildenafil or tadalafil. The thesis is that the combination therapy is going to be the best. And in a private study of 6 men here in Montana, it almost doubled. Using a ring plus a medication was far more effective than either a ring alone or tadalafil alone. So we're looking to do an independent study of us that we have lined up a leading American urologist, sexologist, Amy Perlman. You can find her online. She's actually quite hot. You should have her on your show, Dave. She's a lot better looking than me and more knowledgeable in certain ways. So she's our primary investigator. The study will be conducted by the United States or Canada too. It's called Independent Review Board, meaning that we're at arm's length from it. And there'll be an independent statistician, independent review of the data. And that study will be publicized. And that study, if it's positive, as we expect it to be, will change the way in which urologists and sexologists and doctors treat ED. Because the recommendation, right now, if a guy goes to a doctor and says, "Gee, I've got ED," they'll probably screen you for blood pressure and diabetes, and they'll put you on a medication. What dose is the right medication? They don't know. And they will not recommend a cock ring because most all doctors are ignorant about cock rings. So what we're trying to do is improve first-line therapy for men before they have to resort to either a vacuum device or an implant or something traumatic and invasive. So that's the study, Dave.
Right. Yeah,
and they get to keep the ring. I'll add that the ring, the tech ring retails for $275. It's yours for participating in the study.
That's awesome.
And anyone who participates in the study gets a free consultation, medical consultation about their sexual health with either me or with one of our urologists.
That's amazing. So that's really simple to get involved in if you're listening, fellas. There's going to be a link right here in the description. What you need to do is just click the link, and you're just going to submit nothing to me. It's going to go to Dr. Justin here to make sure that you're suitable, and he's going to do the intake. I'm just a conduit because, like I said, from the start of doing this podcast, I want to ensure that the health of the military community is taken into account, and this is a great way to not only get your health dialed in, but to help others long term with their sexual health, which is an important aspect of your health. Don't neglect it. And there's a study here like how better, like what better way to take about a week of your time at most so that you can get like you can jerk off a few times, you can have sex, and you can get free ring and a consultation with a doctor, all for volunteering some of your time. Not only that, it's altruistic. You're going to be helping out buddies that you would never meet down the road, and that's a huge part of getting the veteran community nice and healthy. So, any last thoughts, Elliot, on where to go next with the study and just the company in general?
Well, when you think about what you guys are asked to do in the military, no sergeant ever said to you, "Hey, Dave, we're looking for 4 guesses this week. You're off duty. This is what we want from you." So we're looking.
Or did they? It's Canada. It's Canada.
Yeah, it's Canada. And you were in some sort of elite unit too, weren't you? There's some sort of... So we're looking for 25 men who are taking tadalafil, sildenafil to enhance their firmness. That's what we need. 25 men. Looking ahead for the company, we have tested a similar device for women, and which no one else has done. We have some that women can use at home in privacy to measure their clitoral health. We tend to come out with that next year. And we just today launched what we call the Maximum Performance Ring, which is a tighter version of the ring without the technology. It is a somewhat better ring for sex because it's tighter. And I didn't mention this to you, David, but it occurred to me right now that anyone who participates in the study, not only get the tech ring, but we'll give you a Maximum Performance Ring as well, free. So that's $60. So
oh, wow.
That's yours for participating in the study and completing the study.
Awesome. So that's amazing.
You can reach me at Elliot, ELLIOT at myfirmtech.com. You can reach me through Dave. Thanks so much, Dave, for having this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, don't let this opportunity just slip you by, fellas. You know what you got to do. Submit your application and be on your way to a happier dick and sex life. It's no brainer. All right, Elliot, thanks again. It's always awesome to have you on the show and hear about your awesome project. And folks, don't forget, train hard, fight easy. See you on the next one. Peace.